A tale of lost memories, sailing across vast oceans, and the most sought-after treasure. Old enemies become new allies in a deadly search for long-forgotten lands. Join us today as we peer through the depths into the vast lore of Ixalan. Hello everybody, welcome back to Commanding Magic Season 2. It's episode 12 and today we will be going on a journey through the lore and the land of Ixalan. And we will be taken on this journey with our fellow tour guide, Brandon. What's up, man?
Oh, that was very hard not to just laugh through all of that.
The keeper of the codex.
Yes. I can't even try and do it. I'm just trying not to laugh. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Delving to the deepest, darkest depths of all of the articles on magic.wizards.com.
Yes. That.
There you go. That was my one shot.
Yep.
So yeah, it's Ixalan lore, and that's what we're doing today. It's been coming for a while, and I'm really glad. I'm really happy these episodes are here. I like these episodes a lot. And the reason I like these episodes a lot is because I don't ever really read the lore, and Brandon does. So this is a great opportunity for me to actually figure out what the hell's going on in the set. So, well, there you go.
Spoiler alert. The set's not over, or the story's not over yet.
I know.
We're only maybe about halfway through for just not the block or the set. We're about halfway through the set's lore, but probably a quarter of the way through the block's lore. So, because we still have a whole other set worth to go.
I can't help but feel that. So, I've read a few of the actual novels for Magic.
Yeah.
The block that I've actually completed is the Mirrodin block. I read all three of those books, and they're all awesome. And I can't help but feel that this block would be a prime candidate for actually fully fleshed out books.
I wish.
The setting is just great. The characters seem really cool, including Jace, from what I've heard. Apparently, Jace goes through a little bit of a thing here, a little bit of a not coming of age, but like a self-realization, a rediscovering of himself.
Actually.
Right, and this stems from things that we'll kind of get to here in just a minute. But yeah, the set is out now. Everyone's getting their cards. I got my pre-order in. I'm looking at all the cards, and I want to sleeve up the stuff I have for dinosaurs now.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to.
I know.
Because,
I had the whole weekend off. Went to the card shop. I picked up a Huatley and a few of the cards for Assassins. I bought a couple packs. Got a Tishana, and I think one of the real good, not Carnage Tyrant, but one of the Raptors. Ripjaw Raptor.
Enrage one? Yeah. Ripjaw Raptor. Reptar.
So I pulled that, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got my cards. I'm not got everything that I could want, but we'll see about that in time. So
yeah, I think we just got to get right down to it, man. The fans need their lore. So, yes. Keeper of keys and keys. What am I talking about? All right, Ixalan lore, judo, ready, set, go.
So, to talk about Ixalan, first, we're going to have to go back in time a little bit. So, an hour of devastation. Nicobolus has finally shown up. The Gatewatch is doing their best to prevent the Eternals from just screwing everything up. And
the Eternals are Nicobolus and the three other gods, or
the gods have nothing to do with the Eternals. They're just what. Okay, so there was 8 gods on Amonkhet to start with. Okay, and when Bola showed up pre-mending, he set up this whole plan, and he corrupted 3 of the 8 gods, leaving the monocolored gods left. And he sealed them away. He wiped. I think he killed off like a whole big part of Amonkhet's population, and then left a bunch of the young people and
a bunch of the young
minds.
A bunch
yeah,
of
so they wouldn't remember what happened.
The filthy millennials of Amonkhet.
Pretty much. And he wiped the minds of the gods that were left over, so they had no idea what was going on.
Oh, okay.
So, fast forwarding, Nicobola shows up, and stuff's going down. The gods have reawoken. They're killing everybody. Everybody's dying. What's her name? Summit Spark ignites when she supposedly kills the Scorpion God. And then the Gatewatch has their confrontation with Bolas. And for right now, I'm just going to go over what happens to Jace.
Okay.
Going forward, we're going to flash back to Hour of Devastation for each of the Planeswalkers with what happens.
Okay.
But for now, we're just going to focus on what happened to Jace.
All right.
So Jace was the first one to go. He was trying to basically break into the mind of Nicobolas. And he tried, and he tried, and he tried some more. And then Bolas, being a mind mage himself, or just even one of the most powerful planeswalkers in existence, he, let Jace think that he had a little opening in, the recesses of his mind where Jace can get into. But it was a trap, and Jace fell for it.
Uh-oh.
And so in that, Nicobolas was like, you so easily fell into my trap. There's nothing surprising here, blah, blah, blah. And then basically started erasing Jace's mind.
Jeez.
And in defense, Jace planeswalked away. Just somewhere.
I mean, I feel like at that point, it's like you got to do something.
Right. And this isn't the first time this has happened to Jace.
Oh, really?
No. The first time it happened was when it was before he knew he was a planeswalker. Back when we got his origin story in Origins. And his teacher, Alhamret, kept erasing his mind every time he figured out he was a planeswalker. And, Jace figured it out. Every time he was losing his mind, he was leaving himself little notes and all that. So, this isn't the first time he's lost his memory.
Yeah, so full disclosure, I should know that because we definitely did a whole episode on Magic Origin Stories, but
yeah,
whatever.
It's been a while. Yeah, Alhamret will come into play a little bit later today.
Okay. Oh, really?
Anyway, it's just a little scene.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what I've read today. People are speculating it was a lion-faced thing with wings wriggling on the ground. And, at first when it's describing it, it's sounding like it's a Johnny, but then it just happens to say something about wings and then just hitting the ground. It's like, oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, getting a little ahead of ourselves here. So, where does Jace go? At the end of Hour of Devastation, we had no idea what happened, where he went. We didn't have the full spoiler list or anything about Ixalan yet, so we didn't know where. We assumed we weren't going to see any of the Gatewatch here. That's what a lot of people were hoping too.
Yeah, including myself. My opinion has changed a little bit now, just knowing some little tidbits of the story. But yeah, I was definitely in that crowd of people who were just like, enough of the Gatewatch.
Yep. So it turns out Jace planeswalks to Ixalan. Now, this is where we hit our very first story spotlight card called Ixalan's Binding.
So, tell us a little bit about Ixalan as a plane. What is it?
Okay, so Ixalan. Okay, so it gets a little convoluted, okay?
Okay.
And Wizards has officially, at least during their world building panel, stated that this is what it is, okay?
Okay.
So Ixalan is not only the name of the plane, but it is also the name on the island that all of this stuff takes place on.
Huh.
Okay?
Okay.
It's a little confusing, but
Well, it's like New York,
whatever.
New York, right?
Right.
So there you go.
The only other place on Ixalan that we know of is where the Dusk Legion comes from, which are the vampires.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name, or no, it's Torzone is where they come from. And that's where the immortal sun was originally kept before it was taken away and moved to Ixalan. So, speculation so far, because nobody actually knows what the immortal sun does. But it's what's causing the Ixalan's binding to happen.
Ah, okay.
Basically preventing the planeswalkers from leaving.
So, would you, like, by speculation, is that specifically what it does? Or is the thing that it does, one of the side effects is the planeswalking thing?
We don't know what it does.
Because you know what I mean? Because it would kind of be weird to have, like, a MacGuffin that's, like, so hyper-specific to planeswalkers, of which in a multiverse, they're really, in the grand scheme of things, aren't that many.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that'd be kind of weird, so I'm curious.
Said, we don't know exactly what this does yet.
Okay.
In the story from today, there was a little bit revealed that the, was taken from the Dusk Legion by a winged being. Now,
who could that be?
There's no way it was Bolas.
I was gonna say, is it one of those like red herring things where you're supposed to think that it was Bolas, but they're gonna be like, gotcha.
Yeah. No, the speculation on this right now is that it was Ugin.
Oh. Okay.
Ugin showed up, took it from the person who was wielding it, and took it to Ixalan, and had the merfolk guard over it. And
interesting.
But yeah, because he's a feathered winged being.
Right.
Fits into kind of the dinosaur look with the feathers and all that.
Okay.
And yeah. But if it was Bolas, he would have just shown up and taken it away,
And destroyed Ixalan.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So, but again, that we're right now in speculation territory about
right, that. Yeah. More will come.
Nothing
later.
on that's confirmed. So, getting back to Ixalan's binding. So, planeswalkers cannot leave. You show up, you're not going anywhere.
You check in, but you don't check out.
Exactly. So, the whole story of Ixalan is basically revolving around 4 different factions, all looking for the MacGuffin.
Very good.
The immortal sun.
Okay.
I keep forgetting the name because it's such an awkward name.
Right. And we just also had like I guess it was like hour or whatever. I was getting those mixed up with all of like the like green sun zenith, white sun zenith, stuff like that. But that was long ago. Who am I?
So I can't wait until Rivals when we do get the immortal sun. I guarantee that's going to be a card.
Oh yeah, it has to be, right?
Of some sort.
But is it going to be like an artifact, or is it going to be an enchantment?
Who knows?
Or an artifact enchantment?
Ooh, leading into Theros?
No,
No, we're going to Dominaria.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Getting a little off track there. So yeah, planeswalkers cannot leave. So what this means is, you show up and you can't leave. You got to try and find the way to leave, which is what nobody knows that that's what the Immortal Sun does. Like, the people on Ixalan have no clue. They just know that they can't leave the planeswalkers.
I want to, can I read a small passage from the article here real quick? Mm-hmm. It's actually really interesting. I wasn't really planning on reading the article, but once I started, I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Just the way that it's worded is interesting, and I'm gonna try to RP this out here. So it says, this is describing Jace attempting to planeswalk away from Ixalan.
Right.
So it says, an image of an unfamiliar place flashed through the man's mind. Color and light and the idea of away. The man felt a tingle run down the back of his neck, and in a refreshingly cool rush of energy, he felt his entire body attempt to break apart from itself. Particles flickering and vanishing, his physical form wavering between one place and another. It was pleasant, familiar, comforting. He had done this before. His body was dissolving and breaking apart. It should have felt terrible, but instead it felt like him. He pushed toward the feeling, praying that if more of his body vanished, then more of his mind would return, only to feel himself yanked backward, pulled by some massive force back through whatever metaphysical door he had begun to walk through. Away, and down, until he smashed back together on the same beach he tried to depart. He fell to the ground with the shock of it.
Yep.
So he tried
Pretty
to
much.
do, but he could not do.
Mm-hmm. And still, Jace doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
He just knows that this is something that he can do. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he still doesn't have all his mind together. So, kind of finishing up here on this spotlight and Jace himself for now. He's stranded on this island alone. He needs to survive. I know I don't think it's weeks. I believe it was a couple months that he was left by himself to fend.
Whoa, wow.
And he pulled it off. The only thing he could not figure out yet was that he was a mind mage. He figured out that he was an illusion mage. So he figured that out and kind of started working on that quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I read that. I skimmed the article. I lied. I didn't just not read it. I skimmed it. And he's in the water, and he makes a copy of himself, and he freaks out because he realizes he's like, "Oh crap, I'm a mage." It all makes sense now. Well, some of it makes sense now, but yeah. So yeah. So we're gonna leave Jace there for now. Memory wiped, washed up ashore, basically left for dead. Okay. That artwork for Castaway's Despair, though.
Yeah, so it's pretty good.
I love all the colors in the background for the sunset. It's really good. So yeah, just kind of scrolling through some of the notable cards here. I've kind of gone Ixalan's Binding, Castaway's Despair, and now we see the current state of Jace Cunning Castaway. But there's more. There's other people on Ixalan.
There are a few other people on Ixalan.
Other planeswalkers even.
Yes. So the next person who has major impact on the story so far is Vraska.
And when was the last time we saw her?
I'll admit here, I've not read every single story. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I can't tell you exactly when the last time we seen her was, but the last time I remember seeing her.
What do I pay you for?
I know, right? Matter of fact, I don't get paid. So anyway.
Forgot to sign that check.
Yep. Anyway, subscribe now. Patreon.
Right. What? No, never.
Anyway. Last time we seen her was on Ravnica. Shortly after the whole Guild Pact, Jace living Guild Pact, all that stuff happened. Then we didn't see anything about her in present Magic story until when, shortly after Hour of Devastation, she got a message telepathically, I think it was.
In a bottle?
Sure. Cute message in the bottle.
That's right.
So, anyway, it was from Bolas, and she was to planeswalk to Bolas's realm.
He's like, hey, babe.
Pretty much. He's like, come see me, and I'll give you a job.
This is not to Amonkhet, but to Bolas's
actual
plane that he created,
realm.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So she gets there. She's very wary, but the promises that were given to her in this message were basically, you will be able to take the lead of the guild and the Golgari specifically.
Oh.
And be able to lead your people to greatness and all that. So she goes, she's very wary of the situation, and she sees Bolas, and he tells her the mission that he needs her to planeswalk to Ixalan. She doesn't tell her. No, I think he does tell her that she won't be able to leave. But he gives her a special spell that when she does find the immortal sun, that she is supposed to use that spell, and it will contact her basically. He doesn't say who. I don't even know who current speculation it could be. It's either Tezzeret or Ralzeric, one of the two, unless there's a fourth walker that's in league with Bolas.
Huh. So the spell is not to contact Bolas.
Right. It's just, and there's no like mind contact going on. It's just, hey, the spell's just, hey, I got the thing, whatever.
I feel like there's some sort of grand scheme in motion.
Yes.
Like Ralzeric is off finding something, and Tezzeret's off finding something.
Mm-hmm.
The pillars of creation, or whatever they're called. Here, take this track phone. And there's a number programmed into it. Once you find the MacGuffin, contact the other guys.
Need more pirate Travis. Anyway, good luck talking in the morning.
All right.
Anyway, so Bolas tells her where to go and gives her the thematic compass. Only tells her that it's supposed to lead her to what she's supposed to go to. That's all he says. He doesn't tell her what she's looking for, but he gives her the compass and says, this will lead you to where you're supposed to go.
Man, how did I not make this connection before? It's totally the compass from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So,
why does that art look all weird? Oh, my God.
Right after that, Bolas says one more thing. You're going to need to know a lot of nautical information because you're going to be selling a ship.
That's so cool, dude.
And without Vraska like having anything to say, he just uploads all this information about how to do anything to do with sailing.
Let me put this flash drive into your ear.
Exactly.
It will auto-run the Old Man in the Sea.
.exe.
You're right.
So, yeah. So shortly after that, we see Vraska on Ixalan on her ship, the Belligerent. That is the name of her ship, and her crew that she's assembled.
That's such a good name for a pirate ship, right? Dude.
So, fast forwarding a little bit, Vraska has the thematic compass, and it's pointing in several different directions, but then all of a sudden it starts pointing in one specific direction. So she takes the ship and she starts sailing it that direction. And who of all people does it lead her to? Guess, Travis. Stranded.
The one she most desires.
More or less. She finds Jace, and she is not too happy.
Jace Beleren? Jace the cunning castaway?
Yeah, right?
This is a story all about how Jace's mind got turned upside down.
Yeah, exactly. Last time Vraska seen Jace, she was not too happy. She wanted to kill him because of the things that transpired in the Living Guild pack.
I wanted to as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, but instead of that, she gets on a little dinghy, goes out, and basically, she's powering up her Gorgon powers because, it's a thing you can just turn on like that.
Gorgon powers activate.
Yep. And she's about to turn him to stone, and she realizes after talking to him for a little bit, he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what's going on. Jace has a beard.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So she just suddenly starts feeling sorry for him because she's got like a personal thing where she will not, hurt the downtrodden.
Like an honor thing.
Pretty much. Because of what happened to her. And we're not going to get into Vraska's whole backstory today.
Not today.
Which that was actually kind of fleshed out today, though.
Oh, okay.
I will say, though, the first place she planeswalked to was a cave.
Very good.
A dark little hole that she could not get out of.
Huh.
So who knows where she planeswalked to, but it was a dark little hole on a plane somewhere. That's all that was said. And she had to figure out how to planeswalk out.
Wow, interesting.
She didn't know what to do. Anyway, so she finds Jace, and she feels sorry for him, so she brings him aboard the Belligerent. And she doesn't tell him about who he is. She's kind of letting him be who he is.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of... Because if he were to know who she was, it might be a little different.
Right,
so
or who
it's
he was.
right. Oh yeah, sorry. Well, both, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a power play, you know.
Yeah,
Like she knows everything, and she knows that he knows nothing.
exactly. So she's taking advantage of the fact that he doesn't know a lot, but she tries to ask, how did he survive out on the island on his own?
Uh-huh.
And then he shows her by turning the room that they were in basically into a big illusion and showing her how he survived.
Tony Stark built that thing in a cave with a box of scraps.
Right? So, yeah. So, Jace is on the belligerent. He's getting by, and a little bit of time goes by, and they run across a ship pretty good distance away, and it turns out to be a Dusk Legion ship, which is the vampires. So Vraska plans to attack the ship, and she uses a spell, an assassin spell, to make all the sound that's coming from the ship just nothing.
That's really
so
cool.
there's no sound coming from the ship.
That's super cool.
And then Jace was like, "Here, I can do a thing," and makes the ship invisible. So
It's a good team they make there,
right?
That Vraska and Jace.
So they're literally getting shipped.
Nailed it.
They attack the ship. Jace is using he creates a couple copies of himself. After they attack the ship, Jace about dies until Vraska saves him with her Gorgon powers.
Her Gorgonzola powers.
Yeah. Turns the leader of the Dusk Legion ship to stone and saves Jace.
No, into cheese.
Right. And yeah, that's just I'm cutting down a lot out of this, just so we're not spending too much time on all this.
Yeah.
But after that, they go off. So moving on, we're going to backtrack in time a little bit here. We got the newest planeswalker of the bunch, Huatli.
Say what?
Say what? So Huatli is from the Sun Empire.
Ooh.
The ones who control all the dinosaurs, pretty much. Not control so much, but work in tandem.
Coexist.
Dinosaurs. Exactly. So not going into her story too much, because that entire article was basically her backstory. Just I'm going to cover how her spark ignited.
Okay.
Because that's how the story, what it was about.
Okay.
So she's off on a mission, and either that or she was getting attacked. One of the two. I can't remember. This was like one of the articles that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm so bad. It's, trying to remember all of this stuff. takes a powerful mind mage to remember all of this stuff. Anyway, she was getting attacked by a person who we didn't know at the time was another planeswalker named Angrath. Is this big minotaur bulky dude with some burning chains on his wrists, and he was using them to basically fuck people up.
It's pretty cool.
And she was fighting him. She was holding her own pretty good until her brother showed up, basically got her distracted, and Angrath seen that and went for him instead.
Bummer.
So goes for him. He doesn't kill him, but he gets him down pretty hard. And then Huatli gets in the way. And Angrath is going for the killing blow. And Huatli's spark ignites.
And so Angrath is a planeswalker at this point.
Right.
Okay.
But she doesn't know that. And,
right.
He hasn't revealed that yet.
Yeah.
So her spark ignites, and she doesn't fully planeswalk, because obviously she can't, because of Ixalan's binding.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
But she sees for a very short amount of time what was shown to be Kaladesh.
Oh.
Because she's seen large gold spires and all sorts of gold stuff like that.
It's a cool callback,
Yeah.
Within the story.
Right. So then she, is immediately pulled back like Jace was. And there's the big old Ixalan's binding right above her. Big triangle circular shape thing. and Angrath has like his eyes are wide, his mouth is agape, and he's just like, "You're just like me. We should team up. We can get out of here." And Whatley's like, "No, fuck you. You were just trying to kill me. I'm getting the fuck out."
Remember that one time when you tried to kill me?
Exactly. So she gets back to the Sun Empire, and she tells them about what happened, or the leader of the Sun Empire. And he basically said, "Okay, you had a vision of Araska, which is where the Immortal Sun is being held. So you're going to be on a mission to go there." So yeah.
So it wasn't Kaladesh?
No, she's seen. Yeah, Kaladesh is what she's seen.
Oh.
That's just, they have no idea other planes exist.
Oh, okay. So he's just kind of saying, "Oh, yes, the thing you saw is where the light of Anubis is," or whatever.
Yes.
I'm just talking.
Yeah, that's fine. You're not the one drinking.
Not this time.
So yeah, we don't know too much more about Whatley, other than just a little bit about her backstory. She's not been featured in any of the stories yet.
Yeah, I look forward to that. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I will say this though: if Travis is actually Mythic right now, or if he is even on Mythic, spoiler.
Yeah.
If you can go to the more sets option and go to Rivals of Ixalan.
For Whatley?
No, just go to the Rivals of Ixalan page. On Mythic.
Oh, on Mythic.
Yeah.
My thick spoiler. Ixalan. Expansions. And here we go. Oh man, that artwork is sweet,
right?
Man, that's tight.
So this is all we have right now for Rival. But if that ain't Whatley, who is it?
Right.
And I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, but that looks like Araska to me. It's all gold.
Oh, so she goes there and she finds it.
Yep. That's what that looks like. So, that's more speculation. Obviously, Rivals comes out at the end of January. So we've got a while before we get there. And of course, the story's not going to start back up until just about the set's out. So,
yeah, just to give you guys an idea. Oop. Nope.
What are you trying to do?
No, dude, this is gonna look so funny.
What?
I forgot how to do it. Ah, there we go. I was trying to. I don't like. I'm super new at OBS, so I'm just trying to figure out how to move everything around here in such a way where I could show off this artwork really quick.
Right.
And instead of actually showing off the artwork, I had the image of Whatley, and I was like stretching it back and forth. It's not even funny, but it's so funny to me for some reason. Like just the card was just stretching and compressing. So anyway, on the screen now is the art that's on Mythic from Rivals, and it looks really cool. So I think you really are onto something here.
Yep. So moving on. So if Travis is gonna get the cards for me real quick.
Yeah.
So you got Whatley, and then you've got the art for Hijack, which very clearly shows Angrath, and he is the only, and at least during the story, Whatley says, this is a man with a bull's head. She doesn't know what a Minotaur is, so he's the only Minotaur on Ixalan that we know of. So yeah.
Would be interesting if we saw more, but I feel like it's just one of those situations where he accidentally went there.
Yeah.
And has just been stuck.
I mean, everybody hopes that we're gonna get to see Angrath, because having a black-red Minotaur Planeswalker would be sweet.
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree.
Also because we don't have any black-red Planeswalkers anymore, because the only one that we had was Sarkin.
It wasn't that
And
great.
he's Teamer now.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
I think he's the Planeswalker that's undergone the most color changes.
Yeah.
Because he was red-green at first.
Yeah, he was Jund colors, basically.
Yeah.
Because we originally seen him on
Shards of Alara.
Alara, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he went from red-green to red-black and then to Teamer.
Mono red.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Wow.
Because he had 2 cards in.
Yeah. Sarkin Dragon Speaker and
Tarkir.
then Sarkin the
Dragon.
Unbound or whatever he was.
Yeah. Sarkin Dragon.
Unbroken or something like that. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave Huatli's story for now.
Mm-hmm.
She's also on this mission to find the Immortal Sun.
But what other races are on Ixalan, Brandon?
So the other races, so we've gone over 3 out of the 4 because dinosaurs and all that involves in pirates and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the Merfolk. So this was a very interesting story that was told.
Merfolk.
So it's mostly told until like the very end. It's mostly told towards Kopala's, the Warden of Waves, point of view. And it basically starts off him and Tishana are meditating. And another Merfolk. Saying this Merfolk. Saying this a lot's gonna get annoying.
Oh yeah.
So I gotta slow down a little bit. So this other Merfolk shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I found this, trying to find where Araska is," and he just throws this Dusk Legion dude. I think it was it was the dinosaur faction,
Sun Empire
dude on the ground.
Mm.
And was basically telling them that what he told the Sun Empire guy told this Merfolk. The Merfolk was telling Kopala and Tishana what he told him, which was the Sun Empire had a warrior that was looking for Araska, and that they knew there were a few pirates that were looking for Araska, and then obviously the Dusk Legion, that's the whole reason why they are on Ixalan, is to find the Immortal Sun, because it was taken away from them.
So they're all like, he's telling Tishana, he's like, "Hey, everyone's looking for this thing.
Yep.
We should go look for that thing too."
Well, yes and no.
Oh, okay.
This dude wants to take the power for himself and use it to push them all back, because this is where the Merfolk have always been. Everybody else is invading their home.
Oh, so he just wants everybody gone.
Pretty much.
Maybe not necessarily dead, just off the plane?
Just gone.
Huh.
Away from their little home.
Interpret that however you will.
Yep. I mean, more or less, this whole set's about a race war.
Right.
So, yeah.
Real quick, I just noticed something. I was kind of looking at the that image on Mythic Spoiler just a little bit more. It's really interesting because you have Huatli standing there, and then you have her dinosaur companion or whatever, and then you have what I believe to be a hand bleeding
from a Dusk Legion dude.
And in the background there's a pirate guy lurking around the corner. So it's like you have all the factions there. It's really funny because I caught the hand at first and I was like, oh, that's cool, and then I was like, oh, there's a freaking pirate there.
Don't see any Merfolk though.
Oh yeah, who knows?
But
maybe there actually is one, we're just not seeing it.
It is camouflage.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, sorry.
So Kapala's basically a bystander in all of this, and this Merfolk is trying to get Tishana to back him on what they're going to do, but she won't have any of it. The Merfolks don't know where Araska is either, except for it's hinted at that Tishana knows, and that she just doesn't want anybody else to know, because they were told to guard Araska and the Immortal Sun and not let anybody get to it.
So Tishana is their leader, or is Kapala the leader? Or are they both the leader?
Kapala is just a dude.
Oh, okay.
For now, okay?
Okay.
He's one of the. I mean, there's 9 river wardens, and
Oh,
he's one of them.
okay.
So he's not just like a dude. He's like, as far as I can
He's
tell, a
like
step up from a dude.
he's Kapana, city councilman of the waves.
Sure. So Tishana will have nothing to do with it. She doesn't want anybody to, and she wants to keep everything safe. So the other merfolk just doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He storms off, and not before that he drowned the Sun Empire.
The what?
And he drowned the captive that they had, the Sun Empire dude.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Wow, that's brutal.
Yep. So he storms off, and then shortly after that, Tishana goes after him, and this is where, leading into a point that's going to happen just a little bit later.
Okay.
They get out to the ocean, and they see a couple ships coming up, so they start casting a spell to cause a storm. And as the storm is basically reaching its apex, all of a sudden Tishana blacks out.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
That's not explained at all yet?
Nope.
Wonder if Tishana's going to be a planeswalker.
I don't think so. Its speculation is that it was the other Merfolk. Merfolk. Merfolk did. You should just edit out all the times I've said Merfolk and just make that a clip.
And just replace it with, like, Bill. That other Bill.
Knocked her out. So
okay.
So that's the end of
that. Seems to make sense.
Story.
It seems like he has a motive.
Yes.
To like she knows what he wants to do, so we can't have that.
But just before that, she was talking about potentially raising Eraska. So nobody knows where Eraska is. Is it underwater? It's not implied that it's underwater, but in a very, very last story spotlight, we will see some water and some golden spires. But, who knows? Because nobody knows where Eraska is. So yeah,
judging by that image of Huatley, it doesn't look like it would have come out of the water. But who knows?
Wouldn't think so.
Maybe it's a weird camera angle. The photographer just had no idea how to capture.
She had just knocked him down, right? And she was doing her victory pose.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, she said, I got nothing. Something about I don't even know. Okay.
So Travis is gonna show off Kapala if he's not already, and then go over to Shauna, and then that's gonna be it for the merfolk.
All right.
Merfolk.
All right.
All right. So moving on here. So now we get back to the story that came out today.
Mm-hmm.
We get back to Jace, Vraska, and the Belligerent. Okay.
That's the ship's name and not the state of the crew, by the way.
I mean,
well, who knows? It could be both.
It is a little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, her crew is, they respect her as a captain.
Sure.
They,
they're pirates.
They follow her. Exactly.
Yeah. So
it starts off with them about to get to the floating city of Hyendra. Mm-hmm. So it's just, what it says. It's a floating city for the pirates.
Interesting.
Where they go to do pirate things, offload their booty.
Is it like a big airship type thing, or is it
no, it's
just
like
floating in the middle of nothing?
Like boats.
Oh, okay. Like a
kind
shanty
of stuff like
town
that.
type thing.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Except it's all floating.
Interesting.
So, starts off with that. Jace and Vraska are going to just sit down and have a drink. And Jace hears things. He doesn't know what he's hearing, but everybody could just be silent and not talking, and everything is talking. Okay. He doesn't know where it's coming from. He doesn't understand it. Okay? Because he doesn't know he's a telepath yet. He still doesn't know.
Yeah.
So they're sitting down in this bar, and Vraska's telling him their plan. She doesn't mention Bolas. She mentions Jesus.
She
her
mentions
boss.
Jesus.
Yes.
This set took a whole new turn.
She mentions her boss, Nicholas, which is how she's talked about Bolas this whole time.
Clever.
Right? So she explains how the thematic compass was given to her from Mr. Bolas, not Bolas, Mr. Nicholas, from a place very far away. And they're supposed to be using that to get to where they're supposed to go. But then she explains that it led her to Jace, that when she found him.
So, like, maybe he's the key to finding Razka?
Oh, that's just something that was said. Nothing was really made anything of it. We can get to that in a little bit. You're jumping ahead.
I'm sorry.
Travis.
I love the flavor text of Thematic Compass.
Right.
We talked about that on our spoiler
Clearly
episode.
indicates the aesthetic azimuth of
a cryptic objective. But yeah.
So going forward, she's telling him the plan that they need to go to Araska and find the son. And a merfolk that's sitting over in a little dank corner by himself.
A dank corner.
Pretty much. He overhears it, and he, yells no. Just a real loud, sharp no. Jace turns around and looks at the merfolk, and the merfolk's just looking at him with eyes wide open and just sitting there like he didn't do anything. And Jace is like, I could have sworn I heard him just protest about what we're doing. He's just like, whatever, it's probably no big deal. So it's kind of figured that was that found out about most of the plans that were going on. You know, he was spying on the pirates.
Interesting.
Which leads back into the merfolk story.
Yeah.
Because all these stories are kind of taking place kind of next to each other.
Like in parallel? Yeah.
Yes. They're not all completely in parallel, though.
Okay. Slightly off.
Yes.
Different time zones.
You could say that. So anyway, Jace and Vraska are walking out, and Jace is like asking her if I'm losing my mind now. Oh man, maybe I'm turning into Jace myself.
I couldn't tell if you were actually like trying to speak as Jace or yeah.
Got you pretty good, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh man.
So what was that?
Nothing. Let's just forget about that and move on.
Okay.
It's just a lot of stuff happened between Jace and Vraska during this. I just kind of brought them a little bit closer together. They see they're a lot more alike. At least Jace, with his current state of mind, is a lot more like Vraska. And so they're kind of getting more friendly towards each other during this point. It's stuff you got to read for yourself.
Right.
Let me just say that.
Okay.
So Vraska showed Jace the compass, and during about the very end of today's story, Jace took the compass and took it down into the ship where he could be alone, and took it apart piece by piece. He had done this previously in the first story. He took a spyglass apart, piece by piece, and then reassembled it and basically fixed it. He was doing that with the compass and was taking it all apart, and got to the very end and seen when he was putting it back together a little bit that there was a screw or a gear that was just slightly out of place, and he fixed it. He pushed it back into where it was supposed to go, and then suddenly the compass is pointing and shining very brightly towards something. And then Jace is like, I have an idea. So he puts the compass down, he backs up, and he tries to planeswalk away. He still doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh, okay.
But he tries to planeswalk away. Okay. And then suddenly the compass is pointing towards him.
Interesting.
Yep.
So
that's when we kind of figure out that the compass is pointing towards powers of planeswalkers.
Oh, okay. So the compass does show more than just Well, does Bolus even know what the compass does?
I don't know.
Is that really ever explained? Because
No, it's not.
if it shows the power of planeswalkers or whatever, then, or maybe it could just be that Jace like is the key, you know. So now that it's fixed,
I don't.
it knows for sure that, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if Jace is the key, but it just it points towards different planeswalkers, which makes sense when Vraska originally found him because he was trying to planeswalk away, and it was pointing towards him, and it's showing like getting into speculation territory again. I've read a lot of speculation today. Okay. Is that it's just when a planeswalker tries to get away, the immortal sun, not the golden sun, the golden sun earlier. My bad.
Right.
The
Different
immortal
franchise.
sun, right? No, we're not playing an RPG here. I'm sorry. Anyway, when Jace tried to planeswalk away, the immortal sun prevented that, and that was its power, and it was preventing that, and that's what the compass is pointing towards his power, or that power of stopping planeswalkers.
Okay.
Which could also be planeswalking power in itself. Nobody knows what the immortal sun is.
Yeah.
So, just shortly after Jace figures that out, all of a sudden there's this crazy storm going on. There's another Dusk Legion ship out in the distance, and all of a sudden these waves are just coming up out of nowhere. And next thing we know, the ship is crashing into a shore. And that's it.
That's
where we're at today. Because we go from the thematic compass to River's Rebuke, which is where we're at as of right now.
What about Perilous Voyage?
Perilous Voyage is when we're getting into speculation territory.
Oh, okay. So this part of the story hasn't been gone over yet?
No.
Oh, shoot.
This is,
I just kind of assumed that the waves kind of did a thing and threw Jace off the boat.
Wait, I mean, probably.
Interesting. Crap. Freaking thing.
And again, I'm going to say, if you want real details about the story, go read it. I was reading it at work during downtime. It took me maybe a half hour's total to read it. So it's not that bad. Read it. It was probably the best story that's been written for Ixalan.
Yeah, it's
also,
interesting.
I did forget to mention that Vraska did tell Jace that he is the telepath.
Oh.
And is kind of controlling his powers. He also figured out that she also where they come from, which was Ravnica. And yeah. So he does know about Ravnica and where they come from.
But he doesn't know...
He does not know about planeswalking yet.
Or, does he know, his past...
No.
Anything that happened? She just told him that you are a telepath, dude.
Pretty much, and that he was, she told him a fake version of his past.
Oh, okay.
Let me say that. That he campaigned to be a high-ranking senator where they were, and he had this slogan, and this is in the story.
Really?
You need to go read this. That she told him that his campaign slogan was "Jace is Ace."
Jace is Ace. That's funny.
Yep.
I kind of like that.
I am not. You cannot make stuff like that up.
Jace is Ace. That's awesome.
So Jace knows he's a telepath now. He's starting to control his powers a little bit. So he's been able to hush the constant sound that's going on for the most part. But yes, Perilous Voyage is speculation territory right now because we are nowhere near this yet.
Huh.
But you see Vraska reaching over the edge of what looks like a waterfall.
Yeah, and you see Jace falling down there.
Exactly. And you see this golden spire at the top of the card.
Right. I really like the flavor text.
Yeah.
Just some cool character development, it seems.
For the first time in her life, Vraska tried to prevent death.
Interesting.
So yeah. So that's assuming to be Araska there. And that's coming, what looks like it's coming out of some water.
Yeah. Or
So,
like the ground split open or something. And
right. And it's coming up out of the ground. And
yeah,
that works too.
Yeah. So I think that given how this story is going, I think we'll definitely need down the line, once the rest of the story for this set is spoiled, we'll wrap up with another lore episode there. And then, of course, when
we'll
Rivals,
have to go over as much.
There was a lot of just laying down the groundwork for the story here. So,
yeah, that's your abridged version of right now.
Yeah, dig it.
So, what do you think so far, Travis?
I think it's great. I like the story a lot. I've said it in the past. I've kind of just grown not too fond of Jace over the years, just because he's kind of been the guy that he is everything, does everything. The unbeatable dude.
Sue.
Yeah, right. And so to see him humbled a little bit and kind of trying to rediscover himself is really cool.
Yeah, he's a much more likable character now. He's not in your face about his powers. He's not, he's not the Jace that we had before.
Yeah, and I definitely think it was for the better.
And I really hope he stays this way.
Yeah, me too. I super hope they don't do a thing where something happens with the Immortal Sun, and it's like when Light touches the Death Note again after giving it up, and all his memories come rushing back. I don't want that to happen. It was cool in Death Note, but I don't want it to happen in this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, like was said, we have a whole nother set's worth of lore to go through.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But so far, Ixalan's pretty sweet.
Yeah, digging it. But I think that is going to do it for today's Story Circle. Join us next time when the prophets at Wizards of the Coast decide to bless us with other tidbits of lore and information for Brandon to go through and give us a very brief summary of something that would otherwise take much longer. Check us out on Facebook and like, comment, subscribe. But for now, I think it is going to be Travis and Brandon returning to the command zone.
Right. We could talk about something we didn't talk about
in
the review.
What's that?
The Jace basics.
The J6? Got him. And that's the ending clip.
Nice. Nicely done.